lights in the trees, a trick of the frost, a ghost on the breeze. But I saw a mirror older than me, staring through time like it wanted to speak. The forest went silent, the world held its breath. Something was watching beyond life and death. We stepped through the green, boots breaking the seal, not chasing a light, but something too real. I came back with salt on my skin, my mind split wide where the storm got in. They call it a test, but I know the deal. History blinks beneath the green veil. Yeah.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to Chapter 5 of The Green Veil, Double Blind. I'm here with, of course, John Burrows. John, how are you?
Good.
So I can't wait to see this one after seeing the first one. And incredibly, John, it's almost a quarter done already. We're up to Chapter 5 now.
Yep.
So it's getting more intense as it goes, as we move forward. The signal splice really went into more specific details about, I will say, really with the experiences that you had. Now, would you say, before we air Chapter 5, would you say a lot of the things that are depicted in this series are actual events that you experienced personally?
Well, how do I want to word this? It's kind of like you can go along this timeline, all right? The hearings and stuff actually may be going to happen. And that doesn't mean I'm saying I'm going to be directly involved, but the person that's running the hearings right now is talking about starting to subpoena certain people in, and most likely it'll go behind closed doors. I'm not convinced they'll do it publicly, but they'll at least announce they're looking into this. So the data that I'm presenting is real. The technology I'm presenting is real. I was involved in experiencing this technology. Project Condign is real. The scientists I'm talking about are real. I've just altered their names a little bit.
Right.
And ultimately I did it in a science fiction way for two reasons. One, it's it's playing on some of it, but a lot of it is people just don't realize how far advanced we are technology wise and where this is all heading and how they're going to wake up one day and just wonder what just happened. So that's a combination of a lot of things, yes.
There are a lot of things that also are going to come into play as this series winds down. November, December, Christmas Eve, will be airing the last episode at noon Eastern. But you also have a book that's coming out that's going to pretty much lay a lot of the foundation in relation to what everyone's watching now in this series, correct?
Well, yeah, I'm doing my biography, and the Green Veil is going to be available in November. So you'll be able to follow the last 4 episodes, as far as what's going to happen and everything. And if you like the whole thing, you can have the book. We're going to air it and then pull it right at the end of December. So it's going to go away for a while. It'll probably come back next year, but it's going to go away. But yeah, my biography is going to touch everything that's happened to me and the people involved and everything. So yeah, it's going to expand on the Green Veil, with factual. And what I mean by factual, it's going to be backed up by evidence. So some of the Green Veil is just completely science fiction.
Now, when you say evidence, it's documents. It's also maybe correspondence of
yes, everything. It'll all be documents, correspondence, and stuff. There's not going to be a lot of conjecture or anything in my biography. It's going to be, this is who I met, this is what they wanted, this is what's going on, this is what I've experienced, this is how it's happened. The people, the different players, as some people like to call us, in the event and everything else. So yeah, that's going to be it's not going to be science fiction. It's going to be my biography.
All right, well, let's get started with Chapter 5, The Double Blind, and we're going to air that right now.
Previously. The forest wasn't the only thing holding secrets. Dr. Elias Voss, called before Congress for the first time in 4 decades, confirmed what many feared, but few dared speak aloud. Rendlesham wasn't an isolated event. It was the opening move in a long, calculated operation, one designed to test the boundaries between perception and reality. Voss testified that Project Condon, the Tic Tac incident, and the experiments conducted at Capel Green were connected through engineered plasma fields, advanced signal modulation, and something far more elusive, consciousness itself. Jack Barrett's return to the spotlight wasn't just about disclosure. It was about convergence. The forest had changed him, and now the phenomenon wasn't done. Tonight we begin again, with Jack awakening from a sleep he doesn't remember entering, drawn back toward the forest and toward the part of himself that never returned. This time, he won't be alone. This time, it knows he's coming.
Silence between dreams and dawn, where shadows speak and time is drawn. They called him back, though part remained, in echoes lost and memory chained. The signal pulses quiet, deep, and hearts that wake but never sleep. 2 men return with broken threads to chase the light their future bled. It whispered through the wires at night, through veils of green and spectral light. A memory not yet lived still burns, but time once cracked, it never learns. The countdown hides in static air. The forest calls, the breach laid bare. Jack wakes inside a deeper plan. The echo knows just who I am. And in the frost where watchers stood, the shadow truth still haunts the wood. The shape returns, the veil begins, and no one leaves with what they bring.
December 27th, 1980, RAF Woodbridge. Jack bolted upright in bed. He didn't know how he'd gotten there. His last memory was distorted. Fragments of frost, silence, and light. But the forest wasn't done with him. Not yet. "You are not whole." The voice wasn't audible. It vibrated in his marrow. "Part of you remained. You must return. Nightfall. The 27th. He stumbled to his feet, hands trembling. For a split second, the mirror across the room reflected someone else. Same frame, same eyes, but older. Something hadn't returned with him, or something had, but stayed behind. RAF Martlesham, Heath, 1400 hours. Dr. Elias Voss tapped through new telemetry while Christopher Pike reviewed field charts. A new harmonic pattern had registered, one too deliberate to be random. 3,447 hours, inverted field, 12.9 Hz spike, duration 11 seconds. Langley was already aware. Their footprint was expanding. Pike wasn't just observing Jack, he was embedded due to what happened the night of December the 26th. After that encounter, Jack's memory had been chemically suppressed by order of a special access program, and Pike, whose plasma field research intersected with the anomaly's energy signature, was assigned to track his neurological evolution. Jack's memory wasn't damaged. It was being restructured. Pike was one of the few who had seen the early modeling. He understood the phenomenon didn't erase. It embedded. Intel report. Echo frame cover. Briefing. Meanwhile, the Soviets had deployed a frog team to intercept debris from Novasat, a classified Zenit-based spy satellite rumored to carry plasma field sensors and exotic EM propagation testbeds. Voss knew this wasn't coincidence. The satellite's re-entry path intersected the anomaly field, Capel Green. They needed a cover story. Fast. Voss, Pike, and CIA analyst Christopher Hunter Green coordinated with Langley to position a psychological monitoring team on base. The wing commander was briefed. Anomalous activity was expected. His role was simple: dispatch a routine investigation team when the lights appeared. The commander had been informed of the frog team's proximity, the need to misdirect recovery operations, and the involvement of high-tier surveillance systems. He wasn't happy, but he agreed. December 27th, OSI interrogation room. Sergeant B sat across from two intelligence officers. His eyes were bloodshot but sharp. Described the moment the lights appeared. "We were just inside the tree line, heard static on the radios. No voices, just distortion. Then the lights came in from the left, hovering in a pattern like... not random. And then... my men started to freeze, not out of fear, like their bodies wouldn't respond. I told them to fall back, but I stayed. Because Jack had stayed the first night. Did you speak to it? It didn't need to. I felt it in my spine, like a signal, asking who we were." Following the debrief, Sergeant B's memory was chemically veiled. He was returned to duty the same day, unaware that the signal he encountered had already marked him. But the suppression was failing. Like Jack, the block mechanisms, both pharmaceutical and hypnotic, were degrading. They weren't supposed to remember. But the phenomenon had other plans. Later that night, Jack's quarters. Jack sat hunched at a metal desk, tracing spirals again and again. His hand moved without instruction. Pike entered quietly. "I intercepted this." He laid down a spectrogram, a sharp crimson spike, 4 seconds wide. "That's not noise," Pike said. "That's you, responding." Jack didn't answer. "Why do I feel like I've already gone back?" "Because part of you has." Washington, D.C., present day. Dr. Voss stood before the Intelligence Committee, hands clasped. Was this a provoked event? It was, Voss said. Engineered convergence. The Rendlesham experiment seeded the field. Did this lead to the Nimitz incident? Yes. The signatures match. That wasn't an accident. It was a benchmark test, both for our hardware and for something else. Why the test? To see if our systems could engage the phenomenon without collapsing. He leaned forward. But we weren't just watching it. It was watching us. Dr. Voss, you're not excused, as we will be adjourning for the evening and reconvening at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We will have many more questions as Mr. Barrett continues to testify. RAF Woodbridge, December 27th, 22:30 hours. The air shimmered at the edge of the tree line. Jack and Sergeant B stood side by side. Neither spoke. The forest was calling them back. And this time, it wasn't just for observation. The signals were no longer silent. Jack and Sergeant B had entered the forest changed men, touched not just by light, but by intent. The phenomenon hadn't simply returned, it had evolved. Their memories, once chemically veiled and buried beneath layers of psychological interference, were beginning to slip free. Each flash of recognition, each pulse of harmonic resonance carried the weight of a larger truth. The phenomenon wasn't just observing, it was orchestrating. Behind every shadowed corridor at Langley, behind every redacted memo and closed-door testimony, the same question was starting to whisper its way into every agency involved. Who sent the signal, and what is it waiting for? The countdown had already begun.
Through the silence of time, I walked alone, but the stars knew my name in undertone. From Rendlesham woods to Saturn skies, I carry the echo, I lived the why. It wasn't the end, it was unfolding. Not contact made, but truth beholding. Beyond the war, beyond the flame, we weren't just shadows, we became. We became the song inside the lattice, carved in light, born from the static.
Figure out if there's some kind of an intelligent source behind the signal, or is it just?
No, it's an intelligent source.
So, do you have any idea what that intelligent source emanates from? Is it in that dimensional space, time and space distortion? Like, who's controlling that?
You'll find out in the
I knew you were going to do that to me, because that's what I'm freaking out on, dude. Because it's like you're still connected. Do you think right now that you're still connected to that signal?
Yes.
But if so, and we don't see it in a physical form, open, like say it's not like it's there right now at Rendlesham at the location. So how is it that you're still connected to this frequency? Is it something that goes on around us all the time?
Do you understand? You understand what meditation is, right?
Of course.
You understand some of the psychedelic drugs.
Oh yes.
What the Native Americans did.
There is science actually also that backs this up. It's been done. You know
it's
that.
What it calls opening up your mind. That's what the real, when I say real, the people that I've had in interaction with the scientists and stuff are all looking at. And they're looking at the mind itself, how it's being so underutilized, what the capabilities of it are, you know, both out in and outside of the human body, how it can be utilized in weaponization. You know, all you have to do is like look at, if you want to really understand it, go look at what Project Stargate was all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've referenced that John, the thing is, because this has me really intrigued. I got to tell you, because I am one of those people that are watching it twice or three times to really absorb, because there's a lot of information. I don't know if people are catching it as they watch these episodes, but there's a lot here. There's a lot of technology references. There's a lot of references, like you said, to consciousness and frequencies and time and space distortion. But when you had this experience, could that have altered your consciousness, your brain, so that you could tap into it and you have more access to the capacity of the use of your brain? Because it's 10%, they say. That's the number right here. But maybe you were altered, that it's not no longer at that 10% level. You've actually been opened up to a higher consciousness where now you can tap into that. Am I getting close to it or not?
That is very possible. That's what Nolan and Green, two scientists that were looking at this, were trying to understand. Did the people that have had an interaction with the phenomenon already have the capabilities prior to the phenomenon interaction, or was it already there and that's what attracted the phenomenon to them?
They unlocked it. I'm telling you, John, I can't wait. And I know you're not going to give me any teasers or spoilers. I was hoping I could sneak it under the table and you would slip, but you're obviously not. But this is why, folks, you need to continue watching this, because we're only on chapter 5 now. It's only going to get more intense as we move forward. So you've got to tune in. And if you haven't watched them yet, go back. They're available.
Well, what I will say, Bill, is soon we're going to be leaving the inside chambers of Congress and going out and actually being involved in what really happened in the past and what's going to happen in the future.
Oh, stop it. Stop. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed chapter 5. Make sure also to tune in every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern live, when John and we'll be joined by special guest co-hosts, Commander Cobra, Chris DePerno, possibly Dan Carlson. And we'll get as many people here to give feedback. And also, when we're live, provide questions in the chat. Post your questions. We'll get them up on the screen, and we'll ask John if it's addressed to John or myself. And let's make this an interactive experience for everyone. And also, make sure to check out the great music that's associated with this. Offhand, do you remember Keith's website, John?
No, I don't.
Well, we'll provide that information, and it's in the credits at the end of chapter 5 in every episode, so you'll see it there. Go back, and you'll see where you can get further information about this. Anyway, so for John and we'll see you next Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, for another episode. So make sure you tune in, and if you haven't, make sure you catch up, because it's only going to get way better from this point on. If you think it's intense now, you're going to have to keep tuning in, because I can't wait to see what's coming next. So, John, have a great night. We'll see you next week. And for everybody, have a great night, and I hope you enjoy it. Till then, we're out of here.